Hey, how's it going, guys? I hope you're doing fantastic. You know the drill. As every beginning of the month, today I'll share with you my full investing portfolio update for the month of February of 2026. First, we'll take a quick glance at what are the different individual companies and exchange trade funds that I personally hold within my own investing portfolio. Then after, we'll take a look at what are the different sectors that are the most represented in it. After that, we'll take a look at how much money I've been able to generate completely passively from my different dividend investments over the past month, and we'll finish by taking a look at all my transactions that I've made over the past month of January of 2026. When we look at the different technology companies that I hold within my portfolio, we can find that I hold 4 of the big GAFAM companies such as Apple, Meta, Google, and Amazon. I also hold a few shares of Elon Musk company's Tesla, and over the past month, I've decided to add a few shares of the semiconductor company Micron Technology. I find that this company is pretty interesting despite the fact that it has gained a tremendous amount of value over the past year, where it has gained over 200% of growth. I personally believe that it still has a lot of room for growth over the next couple of months and years. And it is why I've decided to buy 2 shares of this company, which are currently up more than 14% in only 1 month. And for the rest of the other technology companies, you can find that they are all worth a big portion of my total assets, and they are all pretty much worth over 100% of unrealized profit on the average price that I've paid for them, except for Amazon. When it comes to the energy field, the picture looks pretty much the same as for the past month, where I still hold 2 of the largest energy companies in Canada, which are Enbridge and Pembina. And you can still see that Enbridge is currently worth about 10% of my assets, so one of my largest single individual stocks position in my portfolio. And in the case of Pembina, you can also see that despite being worth only 3% of my assets, it currently has some unrealized gain of over 100% compared to the initial price that I've purchased these shares. Now jumping into the financial sector, you can find that I still hold 2 of the biggest and the best Canadian dividend stocks in my personal opinion, which are the TD Bank and one of the largest insurance companies in the world, the Manulife business. In both cases, you can find that they are all pretty much worth about 7% of my assets each, and at the same time, we can find that a company like Manulife has been performing extremely well over the past couple of months. And what is also pretty interesting about these businesses is the fact that every single quarter, when I receive the dividends of them, I am able to reinvest them to buy new shares of those companies. Unfortunately, for a company that is giving also a great dividend but that hasn't been able to perform well, it is the telecommunication Canadian company TELUS, where at the moment you can find that it is worth less than 2% of my assets, but that it is down currently close to 28% compared to my average price. For another company that has been pretty much stagnating in terms of their valuation, it is the consummation company Couche-Tard, which is one of the largest convenience store brands in the entire world. At the moment, it is worth slightly less than 4% of my assets, and it is only up about 33% compared to my average price. However, a company that has been performing pretty well over the past year is the materials company Savaria, which is basically a wheelchair and stairlift manufacturer. And in their case, you can find that they are currently up more than 60% compared to the average price that I've purchased these shares. Now, another great monthly dividend income stock that I hold in my portfolio, it is the real estate investment trust company Raocan, which is currently giving about 6% of dividends, and that is currently worth about 5% of my assets. But despite that, we can find that the value of it isn't really moving from month to month. However, it remains that my smallest position in my entire portfolio has also been my best by returning close to 500% of total return, which is the 5 and Plus company. Now, when we jump to the exchange trade funds that I personally hold within my own investing portfolio, you can find that the largest position in it by far is the Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF with the ticker VFV. And on its side, you can see that this position is currently worth about 11% of my assets, and it is currently up about 60% compared to the average price that I've purchased these shares. Now, for the ETF in which I decide to invest to track the global stock market by including over 8,000 stocks, it is the iShares Core Equity Portfolio ETF with the ticker XQT. On this part, this ETF only represents about 3% of my assets, but in the near future, I want to be able to increase this ponderation to at least 10 to 15% of it. And at the moment, I currently have some unrealized profit of about 33% on these shares. After, for the Canadian ETF in which I decided to invest to track the global Canadian market, I have decided to pick the iShares S&P TSX ETF with the ticker XIU. On its part, this ETF is also worth about 3% of my assets, but as for XQT, I want to increase its ponderation to at least 10 to 15% in the near future. And over the past year, we've seen that the Canadian market has been able to tremendously outperform the American market. So it is why right now I currently have some unrealized profit of about 44% on this ETF. In my RRSP, I have also decided to invest into the famous Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF with the ticker SCHD. So this fund, tracking some of the best dividend payers in the US market, is currently only worth about 1% of my total assets, but I currently have some unrealized gain on it of about 23%. And for my liquidity reserve, as you must know, I have decided to pick the Global X High Interest Savings Account ETF with the ticker CASH. This liquidity reserve is extremely important for me as a real estate investor to pay for all the different unexpected expenses and for different also expenses related to my future real estate projects, as well as to potentially reinvest in the stock market. So right now, this liquidity reserve is only worth about 6% of my assets, but I also want to slowly increase this reserve to at least 10 to 15% of my total assets. And now I have the great pleasure to share with you that my investing portfolio has just crossed the $200,000 worth. So this represents some unrealized gain of close to $80,000 or some profit of about 65% compared to my initial investment. Here you have a closer look at my ETF section that is currently worth about $50,000, where it currently has some unrealized gain of about $12,000 or some profit of about 34%. And so with no surprise, when it comes to the sectoral distribution of my assets, you can find that by far the two largest sectors are the technology sector and the ETFs portion that are both worth together over 50% of my assets. Then by far the third and fourth largest sectors are the energy and the financial sectors, which are the two largest sectors that are the most represented into the Canadian market. And then we find other interesting sectors such as the real estate sector, the material sectors, the consumption sector, and the communication sector. Now when it comes to the dividend income that I've been able to generate completely passively over the past month of January, you can find that I've been able to generate close to $240 for the past month only. This can be attributed to the payments of dividends from certain companies such as TELUS and Raucan, as well as the dividend distribution from certain ETFs such as VFV and XQT. So obviously this brings my total year-to-date dividend income to $238, which is pretty low compared to all the dividend income that I've been able to generate over the past year of 2025, which has been of about $3,500. Now, when it comes to the multiple transactions that I've made over the past month of January, you can find that I've decided first sold a bunch of my cash liquidity to be able to pay back a certain portion of my mortgage. This will be pretty useful when it comes to refinance my property eventually to buy another one, so I won't have too much debt on it. But despite that, I've still decided to also increase this cash and liquidity reserve after a few weeks when I've received my paycheck from my job. And at the same time, I've also decided to buy a few shares, as I just shared with you, of Micron, as well as a few shares of Meta before their excellent earnings. But now on your side, if you're looking to find what are my own objectives and plans for 2026 when it comes to investment and savings, well, to find the answer to this question, check out the video that's gonna be right over here, and I will see you soon. Peace.